to be changed so far. Not that surprising. Suning now, though, going to ban away this Renekton that we got to see from Zoom in the last game, which could open up a little bit more aggression in that top side.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what the last ban here from JDG is. They're still sticking with this Kai'Sa, so same exact bans from JDG. So this time around, I want to see Suning. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say take the Udyr here. Like, so Olaf got hit pretty hard coming into this patch 11.3 with the Gore Drinker being nerfed, and as well as him receiving some nerfs to his own kit as well. So I was surprised to see such high priority here, but look, it's Sofm. He's a bit of a crazy lunatic, so he's going to go towards the Olaf anyway. On the opposite side though, the Rel being hovered. Rel was banned away by Suning in the last game, and I think she's crazy strong support, especially paired with something like the Udyr.
Yeah, Rel is insane. You can see 70% win rate right now. Like 50% of those games are crisp on FPX as well. But Lvmao going to be going for that one for himself. Exceptionally strong support. I believe got buffed as well. Rel is just bonkers. Anyone that's not playing Rel, if you want to pick in solo queue that nobody really knows how to play against just yet and is insanely strong, pick up Rel. She's insanely good. The Gragas as well going to be locked in. Could go to Zoom. Could go anywhere, honestly. I will not try and figure it out. What's up for Suning, though?
Yeah, I think it will be the top lane for Zoom on that Gragas. They're probably going to go for that last pick going towards the Udyr, and then they set themselves up super nicely for that top side of the map. And for Suning, I think you go towards a mid laner here. I was going to say the Azir, because you kind of just end up in a comfortable position no matter what. But it looks like instead they're very much focused on and Huangfeng, trying to just set up this Aphelios as this late game card.
Yep, the Aphelios Thresh. It's kind of the standard that we see alongside Aphelios, is having that Thresh as the safety net for him. You've always got the Dark Passage to pull him out. And, well,
JDG, they're being so clever here. They're going, hey, you know what? Short range AD carry bot lane. Cool, we've got a Gragas who can play disengage. We're just going to go poke. So they're going to take this lethality Varus. They're going to go for the poke. If Suning don't ban away the Azir here, they're actually trolling. Like, they are 100% trolling. Like, this game is done if JDG get their hands on Azir.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see. The Zoe was already banned, so that's one of those poke mages removed from the table at very least. JDG gonna ban the Jace here, so maybe looking... I mean, you'd expect Gragas to be top, right? So, I mean, there's a world where it could be Gragas jungle, I guess. But I guess Jace just has a good matchup with Gragas as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's all they're trying to do, is just get a decent matchup for Zoom in this top lane, but also get rid of some of the top lane picks that can still facilitate this more long-range style. So they're just limiting the options here. So Suning ban away the Udyr. Honestly, I think with the Lilia band and the Udyr band, Kanavi will still be pretty okay. Like, there's enough opportunities here. Honestly, could even go towards something like Nidalee if he really wants to double down on this, but Nidalee not the best pick into Olaf. Either way, though, fits very well with what JDG are trying to go for.
All right, well, the Gnar banned away. It's been one of the standard picks that we've seen going against the Gragas. I mean, it's just been a pick we've seen going against everything, honestly. It's been blindable. But over to Suning. Let's see if that Azir ban comes through that you mentioned. It's Kindred banned away instead. The Graves that we saw last game is maybe just going to be locked in, allowing that final pick. But Angel could go for the Azir himself. Angel is one of the best Azirs in the league.
That's my big worry here, at least for the JDG draft, is that you just take these here as Angel and you're actually pretty okay. I like this Gangplank cover from Bin. He's kind of correctly identified, hey, look, they have the ability to just play at range, so at least this Gangplank, we can plunk down on top of these long-range carries, try and get this engage tool off. But if I'm an Angel here, I either take the Azir and just kind of laugh at them, or looks like he might actually go towards Twisted Fate and just try and double up in this long-range engage that can definitely set up against what JDG are going for.
Still hovering, he's still undecided. It is going to be the Twisted Fate in the end, which means that Yagao gets to go for the same matchup once again. It worked out real well for him in the last game, and compositionally, the Azir fits just nicely. So Yagao likely to go for that one. I do just want to quickly mention that we've got the Gangplank for Bin. We talked about it before the games began. This is one of my favorite picks for Bin right now. He's one of my favorite Gangplanks in the entire LPL. He's so damn good on this pick, especially when he can find himself the flanks. if we get towards the late game, look at Bin. Watch this player because he will pop off.
Hey, look, Munchwills, I'm gonna let you finish, but JDG have the better draft here. Like, this is absolutely insane from JDG. Like, I love how this is gonna operate because they've got so much poke, so much long range to deal with Sunny. And even if Twisted Fate does go in for this engage, right? You got a Gragas! Gragas just body bops him or just throws that cask in his face. And you're like, cool, peace out. Or even he throws the cask at the rest of Sunny that are trying to come in. And then you're just like, right, we kill the Twisted Fate and then we just back away. We just use this range again. So honestly, if Sunny are trying to actually make these plays and picks happen, it's going to be really, really difficult for them to go for. This is where they need to make sure they're on point with their side lane control. If they actually operate in towards a 1-3-1, maybe they can make this work, but I'm not convinced after seeing the way they tried to play around side lanes in the last game.
I can't believe you just canyon me like that. I'm gonna have to make like T Swifty and shake it off. And you know what? Suning are gonna have to shake off game number 1 as well, because JDG looked pretty good game number 1. Suning, not so much. Trying to team fight with a pick composition against the front to back comp, not necessarily the greatest strategy in the history of the game. But going into game number 2, this Graves still somehow a priority for both of these teams. Despite the 25% win rate, it's still just a priority. Kanavi going to be going with that one, but I'm keeping my eyes on Yagao. I'm keeping my eyes on Loken, who's going to go for this lethality Varus in the bottom lane. Huangfeng, that hyped up superstar carry for Suning, the guy that the whole world was about for this team, now against a composition that is entirely built to counter his pick.
I'm actually, sorry, just completely rambling off topic. The Yagao still going lethal tempo baffles me here. Especially when, like, you already saw that he's going this very poke style. He's not going for this, like, rapid attack speed with Nashor's Tooth. He's weird to not see him go for the Arcane Comet. I thought that was what we'd see again here. But, yeah, he's just opting in towards the lethal tempo, providing all the attack speed he needs in these later portions.
I will say, Dagda, your definition of off-topic is a little weird, because we're being paid to talk about League of Legends right here, and your vision of off-topic is, let's just quickly hit on the mid-lane runes.
Yeah.
You need to get out more if that's your off-topic.
Yeah. Look, this is why my Valentine's Day was a little bit unsuccessful, all right? It was like, hey, do you want to get a drink? I mean, can I just get a blue buff for a sec? Or, like, can we just work around this?
Yeah, the only thing I was drinking on Valentine's Day is the blood of my enemies. I'm pretty sure we were just playing League of Legends. But anyway, enough about the horrific events of Valentine's Day. Great question, because that buff's already gone. He's disappointed on that one. SOFM's on Krugs. I don't think SOFM saw him, though. So Kanavi is just going to take the chickens. This is kind of hilarious.
Yeah, they got a ward there onto the chicken, so I think Kanavi was like, hey, look, SOFM has probably started topside or is else going right into Krug, so he just steals them away, so real nice pathing coming through from Kanavi.
That's such an SOFM move, taking the chickens like that, and it's just happened to SOFM. This is such a weird dichotomy that we're seeing. And now Kanavi gets to just go back, take his full clear, and meet SOFM on the top side.
Yeah, and this is something we actually see a lot of Lilia players do. They'll use that mid lane pressure to try and steal away some of these camps. But the funny thing is, like, as you can see, there's a ward there. Like, they spotted where Kanavi was going. So they knew he went over towards the opponent's side. But either way, nice job. Now, there is the potential here for SOFM to maybe try and invade on towards Krugs with the pressure Bin has in top lane. But it's going to be pretty difficult to do. So I don't know if he really wants to go aggressive or if he'll just take the L instead.
Yeah, and on the top side as well, like, you can just kind of chill, right? He's Gangplank. He's not exactly going to run out of potential later on into the game. Bin got to pick this into what Zoom already had. He's quite happy to just sit here, throw out some Qs, get a bit of extra gold on the CS, and just rock and roll, scale up towards the later stages. Nice little hook from On, and Huangfeng, tons of follow-up onto that. It's going to be Lvmao. I nearly called him Crisp. I'm just so used to Crisp playing Rel at this point that I actually just nearly called Lvmao Crisp at this point.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times, even just where I'm like doing VODs for myself. But Yagao, We'll actually try and push this in, but this is really good from Sofm. So basically, you force the early recall. You allow the early recall from Angel. He'll TP in with more mana with the buy, and it looks like, despite that nice early clear from Kanavi, not actually being able to get into river for these scuttles means you get the double scuttle as Sofm.
Yeah, I think it was more because of, not because of, like, acknowledging that he wasn't going to be able to contest against an Olaf for the scuttles, just going, look, all right, let's just grab some crabs instead. But Kanavi's like, all right, you have the bottom crab. I'm going to take a top laner instead. But Ben is aware of the situation, will be slowed down, but should be able to survive this one. Dodges the second Q. Kanavi can't dive this one, and Ben's going to be A-okay.
It does give the opportunity for Zoom, though, to just crash this wave. Could even get a nice little reset for himself where he may not have to burn that TP. And as you can see in bot lane, like, Huangfeng and On are pushing pretty aggressively here. They got a nice lane matchup. So maybe Zoom tries to get down to this bottom lane and actually turn this in favor of JDG. But looks like Zoom hasn't actually been able to push as effectively as he'd want to. So Bin is able to get back in time.
Well, SFM going to head back to base. As Drake spawning in 5 seconds time. Kanavi on this bottom half of the map right now. But SFM would be able to get back to the Drake if Kanavi were to just start it off. That would be a little bit crazy. Let's talk a little bit about the junglers though, because this is an Olaf. Olaf loves to go for these Drakes, but doesn't necessarily have the best lanes to be able to brute force it off.
No, especially as you can see in this bottom side, like, this is why Thresh is so strong into the Rel. Is you got the Flay, you can just disengage whenever Rel tries to come in. She's then a sitting duck as she tries to waddle backwards, and it leads for an easy hook. So honestly, Sunin have got a heap of control in bot lane, and as Angel hits 6, that's only going to be amplified even more. So I thought maybe we'd see JDG try and make some early plays happen with Kanavi kind of trying to play through Yagao mid or trying to make something happen with the overextension bot lane, but he's just happily farming away. He's cleared out the Olaf Raptors once again and is now going up to his own side to clear out those Raptors too.
Ben managed to land a cheeky little barrel there onto Zoom, and this is just Zoom's life up in the top lane right now. This doesn't get any better. This is going to suck for him all lane long. Ben's just going to be able to prod him out all day. Drake is up on the map. It's been warded by JDG, so if SOFM were to try brute force the issue, that could go down for them. Huangfeng and On, as you rightly said, a lot of pressure in that bottom side to work with, but Angel, it takes a little while before this Twisted Fate can just clear the waves.
Yeah, my big question here is, as you can see, like, with the Olaf Raptors respawning, oftentimes, like, junglers will just try it over and over again, try and steal these away, especially with, like, Yagao's pressure, but it looks like instead, you're not really going to be on time for Kanavi. So it means that, look, you can just, as Olaf, clear this bot side back into a scuttle that is nicely spawning at this dragon as well. Turn this in towards the dragon and just again amass these pretty sizable leads for Sunin. Like, I know it's only 600 gold at the moment, but this is purely just off of the jungle, off of a little bit in that top and bot lane as well. And Sunin playing this early game really smart.
But not interested in going for the dragon just yet, which might benefit, because there is a ward in the pit right there. I don't know how or where they are of that situation, but the ward is now timed out. So if they were to go to the dragon, it wouldn't be quite so obvious, at least. But looking to just go for the red buff first, perhaps worried that Kanavi would try and go for some kind of crazy steal. On his positioning, real aggressive in this bottom lane, and Kanavi's moving over there, but I don't think anything's actually going to happen here. I think Sunik should be able to just shove this and get on out of dodge. Kanavi's sticking around, though. They really want to make this happen. Lvmao positioning to look for the engage. Huangfeng needs to be careful. Has flash, has cleanse. Knockup doesn't land onto Huangfeng. Guardian there. Flash from Lvmao and a TP as well, but Angel's arrived on the scene. Hook comes on in. On playing beautifully, but the collateral damage finishes him off. Yagao flashed away from by Huangfeng here. It's 2 versus 4, while the dragon is taken by SOFM. Angel gets away with his life. A pick for a dragon. I don't know who wins that one, Dagda.
I'm going to give the edge to JDG, just that, like, the gold going over into the hands of Kanavi gives him a lot of control in the jungle. And yeah, the dragon's nice for Sunin, but it's not the end of the world. I'm more interested in seeing now, though, what happens with these resets, because you've got Loken and Lvmao who can shove in, they can reset and turn this towards the Rift Herald. And for a composition that, like, relies on the damage from Varus and kind of getting themselves into a position where they can poke, getting these early golds makes this composition so much stronger. But Sunin have started this up before you can really get these resets coming in from JDG.
Yeah, Suning looking to just snowball on the objectives right now. They get the Drake, they immediately move to the top side and look towards Shelly as well. But Kanavi's here, as is Yagao. And if there's anything we've seen from JDG in this series, they do not want to let Suning do what Suning wants to do. Gold card locked in here for Angel as he moves towards Yagao. But Yagao backing away. This should be Herald for Suning as they're moving the bot lane up as well. But actually, they're going to be slightly later than this one. Maybe JDG could just take this one away. Ragnarok is there, but it's too slow. Taken down is Sofm, and the Herald will be easily snagged by JDG. It's too late to the play from Suning.
I think that's what we're talking about there, is that the resets can come in faster from JDG. You still have control for Zoom in this top side when it comes to push, and he comes across faster. They get the kill, they get that Rift Herald. They did lose some waves down towards that bottom lane turret, but it's not a huge amount that Loken's really going to be hurt for it. But you can steadily see that 20 CS lead essentially in that bottom lane, thanks to Loken needing to roam up to this play.
It's such an insane amount of lane pressure coming out from the Aphelios. And I'm not going to lie, I don't know Lethality Varus versus Aphelios well as a matchup. I feel like Aphelios existing and Lethality Varus existing have been separate parts of League of Legends history. Yeah. But I would have expected this to be Varus favored, honestly. Like, he wins most lane matchups.
Yeah, it's more so the support, and also the fact he started tier in this lane as well. It's not like he's got a huge amount of combat stats, and with the Lvmao not really been able to do a huge amount, they've had to play this relatively safely. So just Huangfeng's been able to use the push that he needs and the Infernum to get this safely corralled under tower and start to chip away and at least get some pressure on towards this bot lane. But either way, it's not going to mean too much. It's more, as you can see with this rated Dirk, now that damage is starting to stick a little bit more onto Huangfeng.
Yeah, and I will say, I'm not going to offer a lot of sustain on Thresh. In fact, 0 sustain. So when those Qs do land from Loken,
he's got a shield.
He's got a shield. He's even got shoulder guards as well in his inventory. So so there's that. I don't know why I'm telling you that, but you know what? Now you know. You know, and knowledge is power, Dagda. So now our audience has a little bit of power to work with in this game. So does Huangfeng as he shoves this wave in. And the gold lead is pretty sizably in favor of JDG, 1,000. But Dagda, I'm a little disappointed at how accurate my expectation for this series was. Because, hang on, we've got to play and it's denied. Yagao doesn't have any mana, so he can't do anything, but he can deny the ultimate here. I think Zoom gets away as well. Ragnarok was super early. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This has been so anticlimactic as a series.
Yeah. But this is why, like, Azir is considered a good pick into Twisted Fate, right? You can just do things like this. And we kind of knew this was going to be much more slower paced, but honestly, you're actually seeing JDG play this really well.
Not that slow pace from Kanavi, is he just goes for the dive. This is exactly what we were seeing in the last game as well. The Graves, when the opportunity is there, can just blow someone up with the Gale Force, but last game it wasn't working out. This time around, it's beautiful from Kanavi. This will be the first tower.
And it's not like Kanavi's going to teeter off. Like, this is the thing. Like, Graves can do Graves things like this when he's in a composition that allows it and when the opponents aren't going to play from range. When you look at Suning, there's not a huge amount of range on that side. So, honestly, when you look at Kanavi, he's going to be enabled pretty well when Suning tried to just bombard themselves onto the JDG spikes, essentially. But for JDG, they're happy. They're in a really defensive setup with so much peel, so much damage, and can just make plays like this happen on such a consistent basis.
That's really nicely done from Kanavi. Clean as you like. But in the meantime, Bin has been chilling in this top lane. He's going to be able to get himself yet another plate. If there's one thing Gangplank is good at, it is annihilating turret plates. His passive doing wonders on that front as well. Zoom's arrived again, but a bit of a sizable lead for Bin in the top side. Has the ultimate available, has an Essence Reaver already as well. As JDG look for this Drake, and I think they might just be able to get this one. You could see some positioning from Suning there, but they don't commit to the contest.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was more so just Suning happened to be in the area, to be honest, because SFM had just cleared out his bot side. There's no real camps on the map, so he kind of just waves from the window as JDG take that objective. And the big thing here for Suning is trying to see if maybe they can deny one more dragon. It just gives them time for, like, Bin to scale into this matchup incredibly well. try and get Angel off into the side lane too. Like the 1-3-1 I think is the best course of action here for Suning, because I think the second that they opt in towards team fights, it's just doomed.
Don't tell me that, Rob, because that's what it was last game and it just didn't happen. Zoom is getting pelted by cannon fire right here, and now he's getting pelted by Viking axes. SOFM wants a bit of vengeance, and the Ragnarok means no ult can happen from Zoom. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, says Suning.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see Zoom overextend that much. Like, you know that SOFM has to be topside. You just saw him like at that dragon, decided not to contest it, but you still know he's resetting to go topside. So Zoom, a little bit of a mistake there. Now Kanavi though might get one back on Bin.
Well, the tower might go down, and I don't know if Kanavi can actually win this 1v1. Bin's kind of large, but it's not a 1v1. He's got a Birdman with him, and knocks back is Bin. The pirate should go down here, and the bird wins out the day.
And you can see there, Angel even considered the Destiny up, but decided not to even bother. He's going to just push this in mid, but Zoom's got the TP there. He's here to save it, so JDG get away with that scot-free. A nice pickup and a little bit more control on the map, and you're going to be pretty happy.
Huangfeng, though, once again looking for these early towers. This time grabs the second one for his team, third one of the game. Gold still relatively even. It's that 1,000 gold lead in favor of JDG, especially once this tower goes down. That should just tick over. But all things considered, when you look at how much scaling is in this game on both sides of the board, this is pretty much par for the course, right? That we're not seeing any massively dramatic leads in the early game. And JDG, I mean, this is a late game team. This is what you expect from JDG.
I am surprised though by the build from Loken. He went for the Umbral Glaive first. Like usually we'll see like the Manamune and the Duskblade and try and accelerate. The Umbral Glaive obviously for the vision control, but I don't think it's too much of an issue here. I'd rather, I think, see him just go for that early damage so that then you can ramp off of that mid game spike from the Varus.
So there's a weird thing about Varus. I have played a ton of lethality Varus. Now, it was before the change in the items, but this fact remains that if you have a weird recall or you can't afford a bigger lethality item, you spike a lot harder by just finishing a glaive on that shoddy recall and then building other lethality items than going back without a completed lethality item. So it's kind of like a halfway house a lot of the time when you couldn't quite finish what would have been a Ghost Blade back in the day.
Yeah. They're going to get onto Bin and bot side,
Bin's
though.
in trouble. Has his flash, but he doesn't get to move. Even with oranges, it was not okay. On gets knocked away. Gold card comes in onto Lvmao as well, but I don't think there's anything Suning can do. JDG starting to feel themselves a little bit, starting to get proactive on the map. 3,000 gold lead as they look towards the bot lane tier 2. Kanavi's in the mid lane alongside Yagao here.
With the Rift Herald for SOFM, though, they could look to just crack open this tier 1 in the mid lane. Looks like he's not going to go for it, though. Doesn't have the support of his team, so doesn't want to try and fully commit and start to trade these structures. So, nice job from JDG to put pressure down and use the time that SOFM committed to that Rift Herald.
Bin has TP here. He's going to move into play. Everfrost going to keep Loken in place. And just what happened to Bin happens to Loken immediately after. SOFM drops the Herald, as you say, in the mid lane. Can't quite finish the tower, though. But, hey, at least Bin got a little bit of vengeance for himself.
Yeah, feels a little bit more vindicated there. The dragon, though, in a 50 seconds is going to be where you need to get a little bit more vindication for Bin, because at this stage, if JDG is just allowed to start stacking up these Infernals dragons, it's going to be messy time for Suning. And as Zoom forced the flash away from the Viking.
I feel like SOFM has a macro going on, where anytime any opponent appears on the screen, Ragnarok is enabled immediately. Like every single time he's walked within 10 meters of any opponent, Ragnarok is popped and he just tries to fight them immediately. It's basically not worked the entire game so far, but he's still quite happy to just slam the R key. And rightly so, because look at the cooldown on the left of your screen. Before I've even finished my sentence about it, it's halfway off cooldown already.
I mean, it's a Valhalla sense, right? You just know that there's going to be fighting, and this is kind of an innate sense that SOFM has. It's just like, yeah, there is someone around here that I can kill. We've seen it a couple of times now across his games, and that Valhalla sense just breathes through him.
I don't think you know what Valhalla is. Valhalla's like heaven, dude. There's not that much fighting there.
Yeah, but
Valheim,
it's a heaven. It's a heaven where you fight at all times, like now.
Valheim is pretty action-packed. I don't know if you guys at home have been experiencing that, but JDG trying to stack up and become somewhat of a bone mass, whereas you're expecting Suning to be playing more of like the Elder kind of gameplay where they want to be at range.
I'll take your word for it. Because I haven't actually
I didn't even accurately describe the compositions, honestly. I just wanted to try and brute force that analogy.
That's how the best analogies work, where you just force them in. But it looks like JDG are going to get forced on top of here by Suning as well.
Yeah, Zoom's in trouble. Will be locked up. TP comes on through and actually knocked away. But Sofm, he's seen someone, so Ragnarok is there immediately. And they charge down Zoom, finishing off a kill. This is what we wanted from Suning. We want them to play side lanes, play for picks, and it's starting to work out. That's 2 picks in a row onto Zoom.
Yeah, and a nice job here, especially as like Zoom has just been the punching bag essentially for Suning. And as long as they can keep Zoom off the map, keep these lanes pushed in, they can start to get a lot more control, because right now the biggest issue for Suning is that mid lane tower, just stopping them from getting the deep vision and really pushing these lanes.
But what the fuck? Oh, he's denied. Kanavi tried to make the miracle play, but the miracle has turned to a biblical disaster. The tower still goes down because they just don't clear the minions fast enough, but you know what? Pick is going to be in favor of Suning, and Baron is about to spawn. They do have a Felios, but in goes Yagao, knocks them in and takes them down. 2 kills go the way of JDG and Sofm. No Ragnarok this time, my friend. He's trying to finish off the bird, but the bird says no.
I mean, this isn't even over. Angel's still here looking for Lvmao, but I don't think you want to be there.
I think he's going to have to back away from this one. I don't know if JDG can do the Baron. Looks like the answer is yes, because the TP is being channeled. Kanavi is moving over from the base. Angel is in the scene, though. He's on the situation. I don't know what he can really do. He's got Bin moving over. Cannon Barrage about to come off a cooldown and immediately dropped onto the pit. Look at the low health bar. Splash in from Angel. Yagao gets into the pit, but the Baron is DPSing him right now. He's low. Barrels go in. Bin gets 1 kill for himself and moves into the pit. Angel and Bin against the world. Double kill for the Pirate. Now onto the Baron they go. And it's stolen by Angel. Soon it come out on top. The hook now slides into the plate as well. And Kanavi is taken out of the picture. Lvmao chased down by Bin. And everything comes up for the Lions.
JDG and throwing up Baron, name a better duo. That's the second game in a row now that JDG have tried to take this objective, and they've given it all away. Lvmao is trying to run away on the horse, but there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hide. The Viking is on the way.
Bin's trying to start a pub because he is just stacking up barrels right there. This is just not working out for him. And now into the mid lane they go. They got themselves the Baron, but importantly, they also got an ace off at the top of it. And Suning suddenly flipped this entire game onto its head off of the back of a bad Baron call by JDG.
And it would have been okay if Kanavi had been there. Kanavi wasn't there for the entirety of that Baron take, and you can see just not having the DPS from this big Graves really hindered them in trying to solidify that. Fantastic job from Bin as well. I mean, when everyone's grouped up in the Baron like that, it's easy to get this ultimate down into the cast. Great setup from Angel as well to make sure that you can enable the Graves, or the Gangplank here. But you can see, look, Kanavi, he's only on the way across, and JDG are pretty much already dead. The AoE from the Baron, from the Barrows, from this Twisted Fate as well, were way too much for them to deal with. And I don't know what happened. Like, Kanavi had Smite. Like, he should have been able to just take that away, but instead, Angel's got the DPS and is able to secure the objective for Suning.
I don't know if you saw the crit that I saw from Bin there as well onto Loken. He gets the kill onto Angel, then just walks up to Loken, twats him with the sword and flashes out of the pit. It's just Loken's like left in horror. He's gonna be living through that moment for years to come. And we said Bin's Gangplank is something to be feared. He comes into this game with the Gangplank. The 2v5 play with him and Angel. This is the kind of play I wanted to see. This is the Bin I've been hyping up.
And we haven't actually seen too much of him because he's just been steadily farming. Like, he's nearly 2 levels ahead of everyone else in this game. He's at level 15, the highest level regardless in this game. And he hurts. But so does Yagao.
Yeah. Sofm, for the 27th time in this series, overextends and gets absolutely wrecked for it. The Dragon might just be able to be burst out, though. I don't think Kanavi can get in here and go for the Smite Steal on. Going to try and zone away. Dragon down to 2,000, though. The rest of the team didn't help Huangfeng. He was the only one doing the Drake. If he'd had literally any help, that would have gone the way of Suning there. That is pretty disappointing to see, honestly. I feel like that should have been Suning's Drake.
Yeah, 100% should have been Suning's Drake. And the fact that Sofm was on top side farming JDG's jungle just told you where the priority was, and that's a major issue. Like, why Sofm is up here, I do not understand. Like, when you see where the rest of Suning are clumped, this doesn't make any sense to me.
He's just like, 1v3. I kind of like those odds. Yeah. You're going down, Loken charges under the tower. Oh. I mean, in fairness, Bin had the Cannon Barrage available as well. But you'd expect Bin to go for the Cannon Barrage first, right? You'd expect that to be the start of the play. I don't think that this was a coordinated play. I think this was Sofm seeing an enemy and pressing Ragnarok the split second he's in range again.
Yeah, I mean, look, sometimes it works, sometimes it looks great, and like other times, we get this. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Dagda, last game we had like 18 kills in the entire game over the 40 minutes or something. This game we got 18 kills in 24 minutes. I'm okay with this. If Sofm wants to kind of run it a little in the name of giving us action, I'm okay with that.
I mean, JDG are going to be pretty okay with that as well, because they've now got themselves one dragon away from that soul point. They've got a big old Varus. They've got a massive Azir now as well, who's just finished that Void Staff. Like, this Azir is going to do so much damage. You can see JDG, they're feeling it. They're just pushing straight on us, onto Suning, flexing at them, saying, come at me. What are you going to do?
Oh no, Ragnarok having to be used because Loken managed to get the Chain of Corruption in. And just to reiterate what we said way back in the draft, what we were talking about earlier on, if JDG can just sit mid lane like this and keep Suning at arm's length, there's very little Suning can do about this. There's a lot of poke on the side of JDG, and it will become very difficult to deal with. Bin is pushing real far in this bottom side, and there's a whole bunch of cavalry heading his way. I think he had a window to get out there, and he did not take it. Flash having to be used now. Zoom has the explosive cast. Oh, the TP comes through. Can he get it in time? Explosive cast is there. Bin tries desperately to get away with it, but it's just not happening, and he's taken down.
And this is the problem with this composition when you fall behind. You can't push up past river, and the second Bin does, JDG are like, cool, we'll take it. That's free gold, free money, and we've already got entire vision on this bottom side. So when this dragon spawns in 2 minutes, we just refresh that vision. We've already got it, we know exactly where Suning are, and it makes it so difficult for Suning to move into that jungle because of the poke, because of the opportunities for JDG to pick them off with this Gragas and with this Rel.
At least on the side of Suning, they get some farm on the top side. They cleared out that top side jungle. They get the top crab as well. Baron coming up in about 10 seconds time. But I would say more importantly, in 2 minutes, Dagda, that Infernal Soul spawns onto the map if JDG can grab it for themselves. If not, it will be Suning buying themselves another 5 minutes. But man, Lethality Varus, if he gets an Infernal Soul, oh god, I don't want to be Suning at that point.
I don't know if I want to be Suning at all this game. This is was starting to look good, and then that one mistake from Sofm gave so much control back to JDG, gave them that third dragon that is just so crucial. Like when you're playing this style of composition, being forced to fight when it's not on your terms for Suning just really sucks. And now you've given that to JDG on a silver platter, and you can see, look, they guarantee mid control with Yagao. They just shove in that wave. They've got Zoom who's passing off towards this bottom lane to shove in that side as well. And how do you try and contest here?
Angel with the TP to the top side here. He's going to try and pressure onto a tier 2. Drake's not up for another 50 seconds. Obviously, Angel will have access to the Destiny to try and get down to the play if the dragon does occur. Sofm, not entirely sure what his goal is here to try and move in. Maybe just to pressure so that Huangfeng can clear the wave in the mid lane here. And this is just a fight for vision right now. This is a fight for dominance of this bot side jungle. Hook goes wide onto Lvmao. They can't quite push too far for that ward. As Sofm, you can feel his finger hovering the R key right now. You can feel him desperately wanting to Ragnarok into this play. TP coming out from both mid laners as the Destiny has been used by Angel. And it looks like he's moved all the way to the Dragon Pit. He's behind the enemy right now, but this could mean that he's too split from the rest of the team. Yagao going to be the target. Bit of damage in, but he's Twisted Fate with a rapid fire cannon. Doesn't have that much burst. In goes the Ragnarok. In comes the rest of the team. Can they finish anyone off, though? I don't think it's happening, as JDG pretty comfortably just survived the attempt here from Suning. That is 4 ultimates used, and they've achieved basically nothing. Now in go JDG onto Angel, who's just chased out the bottom side of the fight. Gold card flashes away, keeps himself alive. Dragon going to be burst down. It was all a bait. Great bait, mate. 8 out of 8 on this one as Lvmao pulls into the play, but he's shredded by the Aphelios. In goes Yagao. Huangfeng flashing out to safety. On, going to follow him as well. Bin trying to stack up the barrels, trying to stop the chase. It's 4 versus 3. And Suning desperately trying to escape from the play. Huangfeng out on the bot side. On, won't be slowed. Bin has oranges, so can keep himself somewhat safe. Blast cone out as Huangfeng even grabs himself a cheeky little wolf on the back of the play. Bin finishes that one off, and now towards the Baron. Go JDG.
Yeah, Angel does manage to distract JDG enough, but I mean, Infernal Soul will still be there in 4 minutes, whereas this Baron won't be.
Not if JDG can take it, that's for sure. There we go. Easy Baron for the side of JDG. And Suning, hey, they bought themselves some time, but this poke composition, as great as Infernal Soul would have been, they're still quite happy with the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, a Baron just lets them siege up so incredibly well. I mean, you try and defend against an Azir, a Varus that are underneath your turret and just poking you the entire time as Baron creeps rain down damage onto your turrets. It's just not a fun time. And now, with JDG having control of these side lanes as well, they'll be able to, you can see Loken go topside, push that one out. You've already got Kanavi who's on his way bot to shove that one. You just group in any of these lanes and then just rain down all this damage onto Suning underneath their towers.
So let's do a cheeky little bit of a recap here, Dagda, because we've got items across the board here. We're 30 minutes into the game. You can see Huangfeng. He's passed 3 items now. Hasn't gone for the Infinity Edge. He's gone for the Bloodthirster because he needs to be able to survive against the poke that's coming out. But importantly, Bin has that Infinity Edge, and you can see what that does there. That's the tankiest member on JDG that just got chunked for half of his health from a barrel right there.
I mean, you say tanky. He's got a Kindle Gem and a Forbidden Idol. He actually isn't that tanky, to be honest. The entire team of JDG
tanky.
is actually pretty squishy.
Tankiest member. That's not necessarily the same thing.
But either way, JDG, you can see here, they've set up camp. Got the everything there, but Suning want to fight.
Yeah, the Cannon Barrage, they're just going to dissuade the push for now. Sundisk is going to make this a real pain in the ass for Suning. They don't really have a way to try and take down that Azir Tower either, but look at this flank from the solo lane as Barrel's coming on in. Lvmao takes 800 damage on a crit. That is kind of insane. An Angel having to kite away. QSS used there by Kanavi, but not to any avail because of the Everfrost. Ragnarok having to be answered. So, CC immunity off of both junglers now. The cards are flying in, and actually JDG starting to suffer from a bit of poke damage themselves and struggling to maintain the siege. The cannon's still going strong though, and without the flank positioning, Suning can no longer defend. In they go, and down goes the inhibitor. Nicely done here by JDG to maintain that position in the mid lane. Even though it starts to look a little shaky, they hold on and they clear that mid lane inhibitor.
Yeah, especially once they're able to force Angel away. There's no real threat of a flank, which makes it a lot easier for Yagao to just go underneath the turret and tank that, finish off the structure. And now they can back away, rinse and repeat, get down these last couple of side lanes. And again, in a minute 40, you've got this Infernal Dragon again. So Suning are forced to fight. They need to get these waves in order, so at least they're not just running headfirst into JDG as minions do work on their side lanes.
And Huangfeng has just come out of base, so he will not have an Infinity Edge before this Drake spawns, unless he can, unless he was real close on that recall and just didn't quite have it. As he'll grab a couple of supers at least before the Drake comes up, so maybe there's opportunity for something. Kanavi dashing away, TP by Bin as well. Suning are really committing to this fight, but Lvmao gets over the wall, hooked back in. Everfrost is there. They're CCing him over the wall. Redemption comes in, and Lvmao survives.
But there's still a minute until that dragon, so you still get Lvmao ability to reset, but the redemption is not going to be there. I don't even know if it was redemption. Then the battle song will just about be up, but the Everfrost and that will still be available. So Suning actually, surprisingly, even with investing all that, are still going to be up and ready for this dragon.
Yeah, they didn't actually commit that much themselves as Suning. And it will be Lvmao's flash at very least, so it can be quite a big deal. Obviously, Hex Flash still available for him, but can't make the instant flash play on the Rel, which is always going to be a bit of an issue for him. Here we go. Drake up in 20 seconds. What are we looking out for here, Dagda?
You're going to be looking to see if JDG, well, can just collapse on bot side, because soon you want to pick.
Uh-oh. Well, that is exactly what we're seeing. Yagao steps forward, has the Zhonya's, though, keeps himself safe, flashes from the solo laners here. Yagao goes in. Kind of barrage behind the play, though. Lvmao's gone in to start the fight, but he's completely on his own. In goes Angel to the top side of the map, but it's not working out because it's all about Yagao on his Azir. Angel, you can't take that 1v1. Been against the world, but he's taken down the world. Is too strong for him. And now Ragnarok can't save you, SOFM. He's totally alone. And JDG, they don't want the Drake. They want to win the game.
And they will get to do so. A great fight from JDG, separating them as Loken. Oh, no!
Oh, no. Just because your team is spent does not mean you can 1v1 Olaf, my friend.
JDG are really low. Hang on, JDG are super low. This could actually be the Viking moment.
All right. Here we go, SOFM. This is your moment of glory. Doesn't have Ragnarok CC'd up, and Zoom is just going to be able to finish him off. Dagda, you built it up, and it all just collapsed before my very eyes. Nexus being taken down, and you know what? Forget SOFM, because the only one I want to talk about right now is Yagao on this Azir as they take the 2.